retool versus rebuild. I think I know what we both would want them to do, but do you think they are seriously potentially going in this direction of just being like a retool, getting some different pieces, getting somebody in their mid-20s?
It concerns me honestly to see a report like that come out, and obviously it's just a rumor. But Piers is plugged in as it gets, especially with the Canucks. So it is a worry for me because ultimately, I mean, first of all, I just want to make one point. And this is more a bit of a tangent, but the whole idea of, oh, they want to make a hockey trade or they want to make a hockey deal, aren't all trades hockey deals? Like, that term has never made sense to me. What, like, if you want draft picks and prospects, this is now a basketball trade? Like, what? But anyway, that's an aside. I think the idea of you want to target a player in the 20-something range, first of all, that doesn't really narrow it down. I think 80% of the league is probably somewhere in their 20s, but this signals to me anyway that they're looking for more of a, a player who can come in and help the lineup sooner rather than later. I think that's how they approached the JT Miller negotiations, and I think that's a part of the reason why the Canucks didn't get the package they wanted for Miller. And ultimately, I think you are always in a position where you're going to be sacrificing upside when you're targeting players who you're hoping are ready to play right away. Because think about it from the contender's perspective. If I'm interested in Bo Horvat and I have a talented young center or a talented young defenseman, why would I trade for Horvat if he's older, not cost controllable, and just a rental? It'd be nonsensical. I mean, imagine if the roles were reversed and the Canucks are looking at some 27-year-old rental, and yeah, he's top 10 in the league in goals right now, but they're saying you need to give up one of your, like, a 21-year-old stud player who's just on the cusp of making an NHL impact. You'd be like, no, that guy's going to help you this season and next, especially in a league where when you have to pay your top stars, you have to bank on young players on the ELCs being able to contribute right away, like the sort of role that Bowen Byram played on the Avs when they won their Stanley Cup. So if you're targeting prospects who are 20, 21, 22, closer to that range, I don't think that you're necessarily going to get the high-end blue chip types that you're hoping for, unless it's a unique fit. Like, okay, maybe there's a scenario where with Colorado, for example, maybe they're willing to give up Alex Newhook because he, fits Horvat fits a specific niche, and he's able, and they think that he's a lot. Maybe they feel that they can even re-sign him. But I don't think there are going to be a lot of scenarios out there where there are a ton of teams who all of a sudden have 21-year-old stud right-handed defenseman who's ready to play next season and make an impact, and they're ready to give him up. I mean, we saw that with the Rangers with Braden Schneider.
You bring up like a 21-year-old right shot defenseman. I even think like that signals a retool. Could you imagine the Canucks though targeting like a 24-year-old right shot defenseman? Is that something you might see? Or are you really thinking that like 21 emerging into the NHL type of player instead of a guy who's maybe played a season and a half, maybe has 100 games under his belt, 24 years old, right shot defenseman that makes sense for Quinn Hughes to play with? Because that's kind of what I read a little bit out of this team wanting to target
who's going to give
position.
that up?
Yeah,
like
no,
if that guy, if you have a 24-year-old,
like they could just be a player that makes like
but then they're not that
impact.
good,
right? But that's
like the only reason you're going to acquire Horvat as like name an example.
Yeah, I'd have to
like there's better. You know what I mean? Like the thing is like, okay, sure, like Minnesota, sure, I'm sure they'll be like, all right, you can have Matt Dumba. Why would the Canucks want Matt Dumba? Right. He's a lot older than 24. He's close to being a UFA, and he's just not going to shake up the look of this defense. I mean, the thing with the Canucks too is they don't have many pieces like Horvat where they can, like, this trade needs to set the Canucks up for the future. You need multiple core pieces back, and my worry is that the description of that sort of ask sounds pretty similar to what Jim Benning targeted in the Ryan Kessler trade, right? You get a young center, like not really young, but you got Nick Bonino back, who's in his mid-20s for help now. You got Lucas Spiza because you figured, okay, he's youngish, maybe he can help. you ticked off those boxes at center and on D, and then you got a first round pick. You were too impatient with the first round pick, so you dealt McCann away for Goodbranson. And at the end of the day, a trade,
The value in the end there.
well, you got nothing out of it.
Yeah.